The human warrior protected the alien princess. She refused to let him die. HFY, the convoy moved quietly through the star corridor, its engines dimmed to reduce detection. Long streams of pale light bent around the ships as they passed through folded space. For the Gyrellian Empire, this journey was meant to be routine. Princess Valera was returning from a diplomatic visit, protected by elite alien guards and several hired security units from other species. Among them was a single human. Cale Mercer stood near the rear of the escort ship, hands resting lightly on his armor straps. His armor was plain, older than most equipment used by the aliens around him. It had been repaired many times, each mark telling a story of survival rather than beauty. He did not complain. Humans rarely did in places where no one expected much from them. Cale had learned quickly that most alien species thought humans were weak, too soft, too emotional, too fragile. They believed humans survived only because larger powers allowed it. Cale did not argue. He had learned that proving people wrong worked better than words. The Gyrellian guards barely noticed him. They were tall, silver-scaled beings with glowing eyes and weapons far more advanced than anything Cale carried. To them, the human was backup at best, expendable at worst. Princess Valera sat inside the command chamber, unaware of how close danger already was. She was young by Gyrellian standards, newly involved in galactic politics. Her presence was symbolic, her safety considered guaranteed. No one would dare attack an Imperial convoy in neutral space. That belief was wrong. Cale felt it first. A faint vibration traveled through the deck beneath his boots. It was not part of normal space travel. He tilted his head, listening closely. Years of combat had taught him to trust small instincts. Something was off. Before he could speak, alarms screamed through the ship. Space twisted violently around the convoy. Hidden ships dropped out of folded space like predators bursting from deep water. Their hulls were dark, jagged, and marked with the scars of many battles. These were not pirates looking for cargo. They were mercenaries. Energy fire exploded across the corridor. One of the escort ships vanished in a flash of light, shields overwhelmed in seconds. Shockwaves rocked Cale's ship, throwing guards off balance. Orders were shouted in the Gyrellian language. The elite guards moved with precision, returning fire and attempting defensive formations. Their technology was impressive, but the ambush had been planned carefully. Cale did not wait for instructions. He ran. The ship shook as another blast struck the hull. Smoke filled the corridors. Emergency lights flickered red. Cale sprinted toward the command chamber, ignoring the pain as he slammed into a wall when gravity shifted suddenly. He pushed himself up and kept going. Inside the command chamber, chaos ruled. Consoles sparked. Officers shouted over one another. Princess Valera stood near the center, trying to maintain calm, her posture straight despite fear burning in her eyes. A blast tore through the outer wall. Enemy boarding pods slammed into the ship, tearing open metal like paper. Armed figures poured inside, weapons raised, moving with brutal speed. The Gyrellian guards formed a defensive line, but they were spread too thin. One by one, they fell back under the pressure. Cale reached the chamber just as the line broke. Without hesitation, he moved forward. He placed himself directly between the attackers and the princess. Several aliens hesitated when they saw him. A human was not what they expected to face first. That moment was enough. Cale fired. His weapon was simple, kinetic rather than energy-based. It lacked elegance, but it hit hard. One mercenary went down instantly. Another staggered as Cale closed the distance, striking with raw force and speed. Blades clashed. Energy bolts burned the air. Cale took a hit across his shoulder, armor cracking. He grunted but did not slow down. Princess Valera watched, stunned. The human fought like he had nothing to lose. Each time an enemy advanced toward her, Cale intercepted them. He moved without fear, his body taking blows that should have sent him to the floor. Blood seeped from under his armor, but he stayed upright. A Gyrellian officer shouted at him to fall back. Cale did not hear him. All he saw was the princess behind him and the attackers in front of him. Another blast hit his side, throwing him across the chamber. He rolled, gasping, then forced himself back onto his feet. Pain screamed through his nerves. His vision blurred. He tasted blood. Still he stood. The mercenaries hesitated again. Humans were not supposed to survive this long. Cale charged. His final strike broke the momentum of the assault. With several of their fighters down and more escort ships arriving, the mercenary leader signaled retreat. The attackers pulled back, vanishing as suddenly as they had appeared. Silence fell heavily over the shattered chamber. Kale tried to take a step forward. His legs failed. He collapsed to the floor, armor finally giving way. Medics rushed in moments later, but the damage was severe. Internal bleeding, shattered bones, failing organs. Human limits had been pushed far beyond safety. Princess Valera knelt beside him. She had been taught never to touch lower-rank beings, never to show weakness. Never to grow attached, she ignored all of it. Kale's eyes fluttered open briefly. He tried to speak but could not. He only managed a faint sound. Valera leaned closer, her voice trembling. "You saved me." Kale's lips moved into the smallest hint of a smile before his eyes closed again. The medics exchanged worried glances. Human biology was different. Fragile in ways Gyrellian medicine could not easily repair. One of them spoke quietly. "He will not survive transport." Valera looked down at the human warrior who had stood alone for her when no one else could. "No," she said softly. The word carried more weight than any command spoken that day. And somewhere deep within the stars, something ancient stirred, as if the galaxy itself had noticed a single human's choice. The medical bay was silent except for the steady sound of machines struggling to keep a single human alive. Soft lights glowed above Kale Mercer's broken body. Tubes and wires covered his chest and arms, feeding data into alien systems that did not fully understand what they were measuring. Gyrellian healers moved carefully around him. Their hands glowed with soft energy as they tried again and again to stabilize his condition. Every attempt ended the same way. Human organs reacted differently. Human blood chemistry confused their scanners. Human pain tolerance misled their readings. One healer finally stepped back, his glowing eyes dim with concern. "This body is failing," he said quietly. "Our systems cannot adapt fast enough." Princess Valera stood only a few steps away. She had not moved since Kale was brought in. Her royal guards waited near the door, unsure what to do. This was not how imperial heirs behaved. She should have been resting, recovering from shock, preparing a report for the High Council. Instead, she watched the human's chest rise and fall unevenly. "How long?" she asked. The healer hesitated. "Minutes, perhaps less." Valera's hands clenched at her sides. Her mind replayed the moment again and again. The way Kale stepped forward without hesitation, the way he placed his body between her and death as if it were the most natural thing in the universe. No orders, no hesitation, no fear, only choice. "That is unacceptable," she said. The healer lowered his gaze. "Your Highness, protocol, forget protocol." The words cut through the room like a blade. Everyone froze. No one interrupted a princess of the Gyrellian Empire when she spoke like that. She stepped closer to Kale's bed. Up close, he looked smaller than she remembered. Humans were already physically smaller than Gyrellians, but now he looked fragile, broken, barely holding together. "This human was assigned to protect me," she said slowly. "And he did." Her voice trembled despite her effort to control it. He was not required to fight alone. He was not required to take those injuries, yet he did. The healers exchanged uneasy looks. "Your Highness," one said carefully, "we do not abandon humans out of cruelty. We simply lack the ability to save him." Valera turned sharply. "Then find a way." "There is one possibility," another healer said reluctantly. The room stilled. "It is not approved. It is ancient, dangerous, forbidden in most sectors." Valera faced him fully. "Explain." "There exists a sanctuary station beyond mapped space," the healer said. "Built long before the modern empires, its systems are capable of rewriting biological collapse, but it demands balance." "What kind of balance?" "To save one life, it draws strength from another." The words hung heavily in the air. Valera understood immediately. "You mean sacrifice?" she said. "Yes," her guards reacted at once. "No," one said sharply. "Absolutely not." "That station is unstable," another added. "And the cost?" Valera raised a hand. Silence returned. "Who must pay this cost?" she asked the healer. The healer hesitated. "The one who initiates the process, their life force, their potential." Valera did not look away from Kale. "Prepare the ship," she said. The guards stepped forward in alarm. "You cannot mean—" "I do. You are the future of the Empire." "So was he," Valera replied softly. They stared at her, stunned. "A single human life cannot outweigh—" "He is not a single human life," she snapped, emotion breaking through at last. "He is the reason I am still breathing." Her words echoed through the chamber. The guards fell silent. The ship changed course. As the convoy moved toward forbidden space, whispers spread among the crew. News of the ambush had already reached nearby systems. Reports included a detail that left many confused. A human had held the line alone. Across the ship, Kale drifted in and out of consciousness. Pain came in waves, then faded into darkness. Strange dreams filled the spaces between. He remembered training grounds on Earth, harsh instructors, endless drills. He remembered being told humans were not suited for galactic warfare. Too slow, too weak. He remembered signing the contract anyway. In one dream, he stood again in the command chamber, blocking the way with his body. Only this time, the attackers were endless. Still, he did not move. Voices reached him faintly. One voice stood out. Calm, firm, filled with something he could not name. Do not let him go. Hours later, the sanctuary station appeared. It floated alone in the darkness, massive and silent. Its surface was smooth, unmarked by weapons or modern technology. No energy signatures, no active defenses. It felt old. As the ship docked, systems flickered strangely. Sensors behaved unpredictably. The station seemed to awaken as they approached. Valera walked beside the healers as they transported Kale inside. Her heart raced, but her face remained calm. A ruler could not show fear, even when she was terrified. The inner chamber of the sanctuary was circular, carved from material unlike anything she had seen. Symbols glowed faintly along the walls, reacting to her presence. The healers placed Kale at the center. "This is your final chance to turn back," one said. Valera stepped forward. "No," she said. "Begin." Energy surged. The air vibrated. Light gathered around Kale's body, scanning, measuring, judging. The sanctuary's ancient systems analyzed him deeply. Then something unexpected happened. The symbols flared brighter. Warnings appeared on the healer consoles. "His biology is resisting," one said in shock. "But not rejecting. He is adapting," another whispered. The sanctuary reacted again, adjusting its flow. Valera gasped as pain struck her suddenly. She staggered but did not fall. Energy pulled from her, draining warmth, strength, time. Her guards moved to help her. "Do not interfere," she ordered through clenched teeth. She felt weaker by the second, but she stood firm. Images filled her mind, not memories, understanding. She felt Kale's determination, his refusal to retreat, his instinct to protect those behind him. The sanctuary responded. Instead of draining her completely, it balanced the exchange. Kale's body stabilized, bones knit, organs strengthened, his heartbeat steadied. The healers stared in disbelief. "This has never happened," one said. "The system recognizes him as compatible." The light faded slowly. Kale's breathing became smooth and steady. Valera collapsed to her knees. She was alive, changed, weakened, but alive, and so was he. Across the galaxy, unseen systems recorded something new. Human, adaptable beyond prediction. The sanctuary went silent once more. Valera looked at the human warrior resting peacefully at last. "You refuse to let me die," she whispered. "I refuse to let you die too." And for the first time in generations, the galaxy had begun to learn what humans truly were. Kale Mercer woke slowly, as if rising from deep water. At first, he thought he was dead. There was no pain, no weight. Only quiet warmth and a steady rhythm he later realized was his own breathing. When he opened his eyes, the ceiling above him was unfamiliar. Smooth, curved, glowing softly with pale light. He blinked several times, trying to focus. His body felt heavy but not broken. That confused him. The last thing he remembered was collapsing on the command deck, knowing he had gone too far. Humans always did when it mattered. He tried to move his fingers. They moved. His heart began to race. Kale slowly turned his head. Medical equipment surrounded him, but none of it was human-made. The air smelled clean, almost sterile, with a faint energy hum that he could feel in his bones. "You are awake." The voice was calm, gentle. Kale turned toward it. Princess Valera sat nearby, her posture straight but her skin slightly paler than before. Her eyes, once bright and strong, now looked tired. Still, she held herself with quiet strength. Kale tried to sit up. Pain flickered through him, but it was distant, manageable. "Don't," she said quickly, standing. "Your body is still stabilizing." He relaxed back against the bed, confusion filling his expression. "I failed," he said slowly. His voice was rough. "You were in danger." Valera shook her head. "You did not fail," she said. "You succeeded when no one else could." Kale frowned. "Then why am I alive?" Silence stretched between them. "You paid a price to protect me," she said, "and I refuse to accept it." Understanding dawned slowly. You shouldn't have, he said. I'm just a soldier. Valera's eyes hardened, not with anger, but with certainty. You are not just anything. Before Kale could respond, the doors to the chamber opened. Several Gyrellian elders entered, their expressions tight and controlled. Behind them were military officers and healers, all studying Kale as if he were something dangerous and new. The human is conscious, one elder said. Yes, Valera replied, as you can see. Their attention shifted to her. You violated High Council protocol, another elder said sharply. You risked your life, your future, and the stability of the Empire for an off-world mercenary. Kale tried to sit up again, alarmed. This was my choice. Be silent, an officer snapped. Valera stepped forward instantly. He will not be silenced, she said. Not here, the room stiffened. This discussion concerns the Empire, the elder said. And he concerns me, Valera replied. The elders exchanged glances. Your condition has changed, one said carefully. The sanctuary took something from you. Your bioresonance is permanently reduced. I am aware. You may never rule at full capacity. I am aware. Then you have weakened us. Valera's voice dropped, steady and sharp. No, she said. I have shown us who we are. The elders bristled. Kale watched silently, realizing something deeper than politics was happening. This was not about him alone. This was about what kind of empire they wanted to be. He is human, one elder said. A species known for emotional decisions and physical limits. Kale met the elder's gaze calmly. If that's true, Valera said, then why did your ancient sanctuary recognize him? The question struck hard. No one answered. He survived a process that has killed stronger beings, she continued. Not because he was powerful, but because he adapted. She turned to the council members. You fear humanity because you do not understand it. That is not fear, one snapped. It is caution. Then be cautious, Valera replied, but do not be blind. The silence that followed was heavy. Finally, the eldest among them spoke. The High Council will decide the human's fate, he said. Until then, he remains under observation. Kale stiffened. He is not a prisoner, Valera said coldly. He is an unknown variable. So were we once, she replied. The elders left without another word. Kale exhaled slowly. I didn't mean to cause trouble, he said quietly. Valera turned back to him, her expression softer. You did not cause this, she said. You revealed it. Over the following days, Kale recovered faster than anyone expected. His wounds healed at an unnatural pace, his strength returning steadily. The healers ran test after test, each result challenging their understanding of human limits. News traveled fast. Across nearby systems, reports spread of a human who survived an ancient life-for-life ritual. Analysts argued. Scientists debated. Military commanders watched closely. Some saw opportunity, others saw threat. On Earth, human networks buzzed with fragmented reports. A single name began circulating quietly, Kale Mercer. He remained unaware of most of it, focusing instead on adjusting to his changed body. He felt different, not stronger exactly, more stable, as if his body had learned something new. One evening, Valera visited him alone. You should hate me, she said suddenly. Kale looked up. Why? I took something from you without asking, she said. I bound your life to forces you do not understand. Kale considered this. I chose to stand in front of you, he said. Everything after that was consequence. She studied him carefully. Most beings would resent me. Most beings wouldn't have stood where I stood either, he replied. That earned a small smile. But outside the sanctuary, the galaxy was not smiling. The Gyrellian High Council convened in emergency session. Arguments filled the chamber. Humans are adaptable, one voice said. Dangerously so. They are loyal, another countered, to a fault. They inspire reckless decisions. They inspire courage. Finally, a decision was reached. The human would be tested, not punished. Not rewarded, observed. Kale was summoned before the council days later. He stood alone in the vast chamber, small compared to the towering figures around him. He did not bow. I was told to answer questions, he said calmly. I will. Why did you protect the princess? One elder asked. Because it was my job. That is insufficient. Kale shrugged slightly. Then because it was right, murmurs spread. You knew you would likely die? Yes. And you proceeded anyway? Yes. Why? Kale met their eyes. Because someone had to. Silence followed. The elders saw something then, not weakness, not recklessness, but something they could not measure, resolve. You are dismissed, the eldest finally said. As Kale left, unseen forces shifted. The galaxy had long measured strength in size, power, and technology. Humanity measured it differently, and now the universe was beginning to notice. The warning arrived without ceremony. A single alert echoed through the sanctuary station, low and steady, not loud enough to cause panic but impossible to ignore. Lights shifted color along the curved walls. Systems that had been silent for centuries came alive again. Princess Valera felt it before anyone spoke. A pressure settled deep in her chest, the same strange awareness she had felt during the ritual. The sanctuary was reacting to something outside. Cale Mercer was already on his feet when the alert sounded. His body still felt unfamiliar, stronger in some ways, calmer in others. His instincts, however, were sharper than ever. "What is it?" he asked. A healer checked the external sensors, his eyes widening. Multiple vessels exiting folded space, armed, moving fast. The image formed above the console showed dark shapes spreading into attack formation. The same mercenaries. "They tracked us," Valera said quietly. "Yes," the healer replied, "and they are not alone." More ships appeared on the display. This was not a recovery mission. It was an execution. The sanctuary station had no weapons. It had never needed them. For thousands of years, no one dared approach it with hostile intent. Until now. "They believe we are vulnerable," Cale said. "They believe correctly," one officer answered. "Our escort ships are damaged. Reinforcements are too far away." The words hung heavy. Valera turned to Cale. "You should be evacuated." Cale shook his head immediately. "I'm staying." "You are not fully recovered." "I'm recovered enough." She searched his face. "This is not your duty anymore." Cale looked at her steadily. "It never stopped being my choice." Outside the station, the first shots struck. Energy fire washed across the ancient hull. The station trembled but held. Old systems adapted, redistributing stress in ways modern engineers did not understand. Still, it would not last. Inside the council chamber of the Jarelian Empire, alarms erupted almost at the same moment. Long-range sensors picked up the attack, feeding live data into the High Council's display. "They are attacking the sanctuary," one elder said. "Who would dare?" "The mercenary fleets," another replied. "The same ones responsible for the ambush." Murmurs spread quickly. "They are targeting the princess." "And the human," the eldest council member's eyes narrowed. "Dispatch reinforcements." "They will not arrive in time," a commander said. "The sanctuary will fall first." Silence followed. Then a different voice spoke. "Humans are closer." All eyes turned. "Human patrol groups operate within range," the commander continued. "Independent units, civilian military hybrids." "They are not part of this conflict," an elder snapped. "They will be," the commander replied. "The attack involves one of their own." Back at the sanctuary, Cale studied the tactical feed. Enemy boarding pods were preparing for launch. "They're coming inside," he said. The Jarelian officers looked at him sharply. "You are one person," he nodded. "Then I'll slow them down." "You cannot hold them alone," one said. "I don't need to hold them," Cale replied. "I need to buy time." Valera stepped forward. "I will not let you do this again." Cale turned to her calm and steady. "You won't stop me." She opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. She saw it in his eyes. This was who he was. "Then I will stand with you," she said. Cale frowned. "You shouldn't." "I already chose," she replied. Together they moved toward the access corridors. The first boarding pod tore through the hull in a shower of sparks. Mercenaries poured out, weapons raised, confident and aggressive. They did not expect resistance. Cale moved first. His motion was smooth, efficient. His body responded faster than before, not stronger but smarter. He anticipated movement, adjusted angles, used the narrow corridor to his advantage. He did not rush. He controlled space. The mercenaries faltered as their front line fell back. This human fought differently now. Not recklessly, precisely. Valera stayed behind him, directing station systems, sealing doors, rerouting energy. She was not a warrior, but she was a commander. Another pod breached, then another. The pressure grew. Cale took a hit to the side, staggered, then recovered. Pain flared, but it no longer controlled him. His body absorbed impact and adapted, muscles shifting, balance correcting. The sanctuary responded too. Its systems adjusted around him, reinforcing floors where he stood, dimming lights where enemies advanced. It recognized him. Outside, human ships arrived. They were not sleek warships. They were mixed designs, freighters reinforced with armor, patrol craft with mismatched parts, vessels built for survival rather than beauty. They did not hesitate. Human captains did not wait for permission when one of their own was under threat. They charged. The mercenaries were caught off guard as human ships slammed into the battle, targeting engines, disrupting formations, forcing close combat where human pilots excelled. "Unknown vessels," a mercenary commander shouted. "Identify." No response came. Human ships did not waste time with words. Inside the sanctuary, Kale felt the shift even before the reports came in. "They're here," he said. Valera looked up. "Who?" "Humans," her breath caught. The fighting intensified. Mercenaries pushed harder, desperate now. They knew they were running out of time. Kale was driven back step by step. His armor cracked further. Blood stained the floor. Still, he did not fall. Behind him, Valera placed a hand on his arm. "You've done enough," she said softly. "Not yet," he replied. A heavy blast struck near them, throwing both across the corridor. Kale hit the wall hard, vision flashing white. He struggled to rise. A mercenary stepped forward, weapon aimed. Before it could fire, the floor beneath it collapsed. The sanctuary shifted. Energy surged. The mercenary fell into darkness. The remaining attackers hesitated. They felt it too now. The station was no longer passive. It had chosen a side. Human ships broke through the mercenary line outside, driving them back. Several mercenary vessels fled. Others were disabled. Inside, the last boarding teams retreated. Silence returned slowly, broken only by damaged systems powering down. Kale collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. Valera knelt beside him immediately. "You're hurt," she said. He gave a tired smile. "Still standing." Rescue teams arrived moments later. Gyrellian reinforcements followed soon after, finding a scene they had not expected. The sanctuary intact, the princess alive, a human warrior at the center of it all. Reports spread faster than before. Humans had answered without orders. Humans had fought without fear. Humans had protected an alien princess and an ancient station the galaxy feared to touch. In the High Council chamber, silence ruled as the final data came in. "The humans intervened," a commander said, "without permission. They saved the sanctuary. They saved the princess." The eldest elder closed his eyes briefly. "The galaxy is changing," he said. "Yes," another replied, "and humans are at the center of it." Back at the sanctuary, Kale was placed on a medical bed once more. This time his injuries were minor, his recovery was fast. Valera stood beside him as he rested. "You were right," she said quietly. "About what?" "About choice." He looked at her, confused. "You chose to stand," she continued, "and others chose to follow." Kale thought of the human ships arriving without hesitation. "Humans do that," he said simply. She smiled faintly. "And now," she said, "the galaxy has seen it." Outside the viewport, human ships and Gyrellian vessels held formation together. For the first time, they were not allies by treaty. They were allies by action, and the universe was watching. The stars outside the sanctuary station looked calm again, as if nothing had happened. Wreckage from the battle drifted slowly away, pulled by distant gravity. Human ships and Gyrellian vessels remained nearby, holding position together in quiet understanding. Inside the station, life returned carefully. Damaged corridors were sealed. Systems were repaired. The ancient structure, once silent for ages, now hummed with steady energy, as if content with its choice. Kale Mercer sat on the edge of a medical platform, boots touching the floor. He felt tired, but it was a good kind of tired. The kind that came after something important was finished. Princess Valera stood near the viewport, her hands clasped behind her back. She watched the ships outside, human and alien mixed together in a formation no one would have imagined days earlier. "The High Council is arriving," she said quietly. Kale nodded. "I figured they would." "They are not pleased," she added. He smiled faintly. "They never are," she turned to him. "This meeting will decide many things. For you," he said. "Not for me." She walked closer. "Do not be so certain." The High Council chamber aboard the arriving flagship was vast and cold, designed to remind everyone who entered of the Empire's power. Tall pillars stretched upward, glowing with soft light. Elders sat in a wide circle, their expressions controlled but tense. Kale stood alone in the center. He wore no armor this time, just a simple human uniform. He stood straight, hands at his sides, calm. Princess Valera entered moments later. When she took her place, the room fell silent. The eldest elder spoke first. The events at the sanctuary have been reviewed, he said. Multiple violations occurred. Kale remained silent. You acted without authorization, the elder continued, looking directly at him. You interfered in imperial matters. You resisted mercenary forces. You drew human fleets into a conflict not formally declared. Yes, Kale replied simply. A ripple of murmurs spread. You do not deny it. No. And you offer no justification? Kale looked around the chamber. I protected someone who needed protecting. The elder's eyes narrowed. You are aware that such simplicity causes wars. Kale met his gaze evenly. Sometimes it stops them. Silence returned. Another elder leaned forward. The humans arrived without command. They came because they chose to, Kale said. No one ordered them. That is precisely the concern, the elder replied. Princess Valera rose. You fear what you cannot control, she said calmly. That is not new. This is different, an elder snapped. Humans act on instinct. On emotion. Yes, Valera said. And on loyalty, she gestured toward Kale. This human stood alone between me and death when your elite forces failed. He did not ask who I was. He did not ask what he would gain. She paused. He chose. The chamber remained quiet. You claim humanity is unstable, she continued. Yet when attacked, they did not seek conquest. They did not demand payment. They came to protect. One elder shifted uncomfortably. That does not erase the risk they pose. No, Valera agreed. It reveals the risk of ignoring them. The eldest elder closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. The council has reached a decision, he said. Kale felt his shoulders tighten slightly. Whatever happened next, he would accept it. The human Kale Mercer will not be punished. A quiet shock rippled through the chamber. He will be recognized, Kale blinked. Recognized how? He asked carefully. The elder's gaze hardened not unkindly. You will be named Shield of the Crown, he said. A title reserved for those who place themselves between the Empire and destruction. Valera's breath caught softly. It has never been given to a non-Jarelian, another elder added. Then let history change, the eldest replied. Kale felt something heavy settle in his chest. I didn't do this for titles, he said. We know, the elder replied. That is why you receive one. The meeting ended soon after. Word spread quickly across the station, then beyond it. Human channels erupted with disbelief. Alien networks buzzed with debate. A human had been named protector of an alien crown. Back aboard the sanctuary, Kale stood alone for a moment, staring at the symbol now displayed on his uniform. It felt unreal. Princess Valera joined him. You don't look pleased, she said gently. I don't know how to be this, he replied honestly. She smiled. Neither did I when I first became princess. They stood in silence, watching the stars. Will you return to Earth? She asked. Eventually, he said. Humans always go home. And before that, he looked at her. I'll stand where I'm needed. She nodded, understanding more than words could say. Days later, the sanctuary station was formally sealed again, this time with human and Jarelian signatures both recorded in its ancient systems. It accepted them without resistance. As Kale prepared to leave, human ships escorted him alongside Jarelian vessels. The formation was deliberate, visible to every system they passed. A message echoed quietly across the networks. Humans do not abandon those who stand with them. On Earth, the story was told and retold, not as a tale of conquest, but of choice, of a single human who stood his ground and others who followed because that was who they were. Across alien worlds, perceptions shifted slowly. Humans were no longer seen as small or fragile. They were seen as dangerous in a different way. They cared. On the final day before Kale's departure, Valera met him one last time at the edge of the docking bay. You changed the galaxy, she said. He shook his head. I just did my job, she smiled softly. That is what frightens them. He hesitated, then spoke quietly. If you ever need me, I know, she said. You'll come. He nodded. As his ship departed, the sanctuary station dimmed its lights in a gesture no modern system recognized. Respect. Kale Mercer watched the stars stretch ahead of him as his ship entered folded space. He felt no pride, no regret, only calm. Somewhere behind him, an alien empire stood a little taller. Somewhere ahead, humanity's path burned brighter. And the galaxy, vast and ancient, had learned something new. When a human chooses to stand, the universe moves with them.